थोड़ा वाला साला no eso puede hacer nestled between two hills near the Western Ghats, with the Salauli River and a tributary of the Zuari, one of the major rivers of Goa, running through it. Curdi was once a flourishing village with over 600 families in the southeastern hinterland of Goa. It had around 20 wards with a population of about 3,000, making it a large village till 1983. Since then, it's a ghost town village in making. It stays submerged in the waters of Salolin Dam for 11 months in the year. And just before the monsoon that hits Goa in the early June, the water levels go down and the village resurfaces for a while. Tiling paddy fields surrounded by coconut, cashews, mango, and jackfruit trees. The Hindus, Muslims, and Christians lived here together. It had a 19th century Someshwar temple, a chapel of Sacred Heart of Jesus. The ground level structure of what once used to be a rice mill, flour mill, the local bar, a provision store, a fair price shop, a police station, muddy mounds showing traces of homes, the borders of the village canal, a half-standing police checkpost, a school, and the clean pathways which were built by the Portuguese, where once stood the colonial border military guarding the state from the Indian army. It was also the birthplace of renowned classical vocalist and Padma Bhushan recipient Mogubai Kurdikar. The village also holds historical significance. A 2.5-meter tall figure of Mother Goddess, carved here on a laterite rock dated 5th century BC. This rock was nicely scooped out and taken to Verna village in the South Goa and placed there. Sri Someshwar Temple. This temple must have been the main temple in the village. The shrine of it continues to stand with its two floors. The temple stood on a hill rock not too far from the banks of the river. It still continues to stand tall as a reminder of the village that surrounded it. Deity, a Shivalinga called Someshwar, stayed here. My readings tell me that the villagers believe that this linga is self-manifested, so should not be moved. The temple managed to sustain themselves despite staying underwater for more than 35 years. The concrete formation in front is Sejo. It has two arched doors, one facing the temple and the other facing the river. This used to be a green room for performances, happened on the stage between the temple and the river. It also played a music room and a storeroom for the temple and the artists. There was also a church which was completely demolished, and a chapel was built on the hill late so people can visit again to pray. The village also had its share of rock cut caves. It is not easy to locate them now, but they do exist somewhere in the ecosystem of the dam project. We moved ahead on the narrow road and passed by a deep gorge cut through the rock called Karis. I wonder if it's a natural waterway or a man-made one. The village was completely submerged underwater when the state's first dam was constructed in 1986. In the late 1960s, a few years after Goa was liberated from the Portuguese, in 1961, the state's first chief minister, Dayanand Bandodkar, visited Curdi, and he told them about the proposed dam and how it will benefit all of South Goa. He seeked their agreement on the project, and he told them it will drown the village, but their sacrifice will be for the greater good. The project was ambitious. Built on the banks of the Salauli River, it was called the Salauri Irrigation Project, proposed to provide water for drinking, irrigation, and industrial purposes to most of South Goa. The government compensated the families with agricultural land for housing purpose at Vade and Valkeni. As per official records, the dam construction started in 1976 and was completed in 2000. By 1986, the village started going underwater. Locals claim that before getting submerged, the village turned into an island for a few hours and then slowly disappears underwater. It was an emotional moment for the villagers who sacrificed their homes for the sake of Goa. It is the greatest sacrifice anyone can make. Kudi was chosen because of its ideal location. A dam needs to be near a river, preferably between two hills with good rainfall and good catchment areas. The construction of the Salauli Dam proved to be beneficial for Goa, but it was also a reason to relocate over 400 families away from the ancestral land. Today, it is very easy for us to pack our bags and move, but for the people of Kudi, their identity was based on their land. They were closely and directly connected with it. That is perhaps why they remember it keenly and keep coming back to it. Every year, in the month of May, the water reduces to reveal its remains. During this time, the original inhabitants of the village, now settled elsewhere, come together to celebrate their home and the place of worship. Every year, people who used to stay in Kuddi celebrate Ustav on the third Sunday of May at the Someshwar temple to recollect their memories and for the love of their ancestral places. A bhajan program and other religious ceremonies are held during the Utsav. Also, they celebrate an annual chapel feast on the fourth Sunday of May. This is their story. Good day is hauntingly beautiful. It makes me sad and happy at the same time. You feel sorry when you look at the ruins, but the landscape all around is beautiful. The fact that you get this glimpse just for a few days in the year makes it even more precious.
I think the people of South Goa will always remain indebted to the people of Curdi and the villages that let go of their homes so that everyone can get ample water to drink. So visiting Kurdi is like visiting a part of the history of Goa that you know will not be available for future generations.
To the ignorant eye, entering Kuddi is like walking into a wasteland. Cracked earth, stump of trees, eroded destroyed houses, and religious structures, broken canals in ruins, and miles of barren ground crisscrossing with water bodies. But when you bring the original settler here, this place brimming with life, when they start pointing at places, remembering what structures represented, they just recreate the place they lost.